The following is an original Aliven podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we open up another episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR, I'll be the first to say that I have no words for this weekend. Trucks and O'Reillys, sure, we could probably talk about those all day, but there is no disdain that I have for the All-Star weekend, just particularly this one, because Wyatt could probably agree with me here, and if Sly were here, he'd agree with me. If Stapleton were here, he'd agree with me that this, hands down, was the worst weekend for All-Star, worst All-Star weekend ever in its 40-year history. We're going to talk about it here on the newest episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR. As always, I'm Elijah Leonard. To the left, that is co-host Wyatt Walker. And what's going on, Wyatt? Talk to me about the emotions of the All-Star weekend.
Oh, man. The All-Star race was not good. Just like, first off, why was the open cars racing with the cars in the race? Like, I don't understand that one at first. I love the format. They've always had, like, the open cars race to get into the final. So I don't understand all that. But just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was so weird. First off, because there was somebody else that was streaming like reactions to the race, and I tuned in, and that was probably one of the first things I saw. I think segment 1, it started with a 9-car crash, and then it ended with a 9-car crash, and then you had segment 2, and then all of a sudden, I think there was like 24-ish cars that I saw in segment 1, at least.
Yeah.
But then segment 2, it's like I'm seeing a normal points race. Like all 36 guys are on the track all of a sudden. I'm like, what the? Huh? What? Why? I don't understand. Like, and then, oh, by the way, the best, they determine the best, the starting lineup of the final 200 lap segment by combining everybody's finishes. So I guess the starting lineup was set up like that.
Which I kind of liked it. I'll be honest with you. That was interesting. I kind of thought it was interesting. I thought they were trying to improvise, trying to do a little bit something, but Dover was not the track.
It just wasn't.
Dover was not a track. We all were questioning like how this was going to go. Dover being an all-star race, how all that. Yeah, this is proving why we all were like, why?
Yeah.
And it is good that Dover will be back next year, but I hope it's not for an all-star.
Dear God, I hope not.
Get Dover back as a points paying race. Do not bring this ever. Do not take Dover to the all-star race or other way around ever again. It's like that was not.
That just didn't work.
They were all going way too crazy. Just I don't. No, it should not have worked.
I think what also needs to happen too is that NASCAR, I think even as clear as day, when before the season ever started and after they settled the lawsuit with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports and came up with compromises and started deciding, all right, we're going to start actually listening to the fans, like legit listen to them. I think what they need to do is go to the fans. I think every week what they should do is go to the fans and ask them, hey, what'd you think about this? You know, we're trying some new stuff. What'd you think? And just get feedback from the fans. I think that's what they should do with this All-Star race. It's like, hey, what'd you think about the festivities at Dover? Did you like the All-Star race at Dover? I will guarantee you every single person would have said, hell no. Hell no.
You may have a few people that likes the chaos, but it's like at the same time, it's like
No.
It was not. No, even race winner and race runner up Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe, neither one felt like that was an all-star race. No,
No.
neither one really. Even Denny Hamlin talking on his podcast, I caught a little bit of it. He's like, how many people that are supposed to be in it didn't even get the race in the all-star race? Like, talk about Chase Elliott being one of the drivers named that got wrecked out. Him and Ross Chastain were the main two. And it's like
Yeah.
they got in the all-star race, but they weren't even the race in it because they're already wrecked.
Right.
What is that's stupid.
What I also think they should do then, continuing this thought as well, is go back to the drawing board. Go back to actually what worked. Take the all-star race, put it back at Charlotte, and then go back to the old format. Go back to what actually was working. You know, you had the All-Star Open where you had all the cars that didn't win or didn't win last year, like the previous All-Star race, whatever it is. And they're all racing to try to get in. Every single other car that was racing with the open cars, keep them out of it. They're already locked in. They don't need to sacrifice their cars. Keep them out. And then what they need to do once they get their full all-star race lineup set up, 23 cars, 24 cars, whatever it is, that's where you do qualifying. That's where you do the all-star qualifying. That's how you set your starting lineup. That's how you set up your main event.
I will say this though. I did like everyone I did watch qualifying. I actually enjoyed watching qualifying, even if all the drivers did it, both open or all-star drivers. That's something I did like. Have like two separate ones, one for the all-star, one for the open, and everyone still goes after the pit crew challenge. I think everyone should still go after
I
that
agree.
pit crew.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think keep the open cards with the open and just all-star with all-star. And I do agree with you. I would like to have it back at Charlotte. Charlotte, it's always been the best one.
Yeah.
Texas, the few I saw from Texas when they had that, was it? I mean, was it?
It was.
It wasn't as bad.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I don't think it was terrible. I just don't really think the all-star race at Texas, when you look at, like the atmosphere, I don't think it worked. I just don't really think it worked, especially even for its track configuration. I just don't think it really worked out. That's why the all-star race at Charlotte, for so many years, it worked so well for so long. And I think it's perfect. That's where you had a lot of your all-star race moments, like Dale Sr. passing the pass in the grass, even though he didn't pass anybody in the grass. He just passed through the grass. Darrell Waltrip, the very first time they ran the all-star race after he won, motor blows up after the race is over. 2001, when you had the track partially covered in rain. Everybody goes into turn one. Pretty much almost everybody wrecks on lap one. NASCAR says, hey, you can get your backup cars out. And then they pretty much start over from scratch because that's a mulligan.
I want to bring this up too. That should have been something that Elliott and Chastain should have been allowed to do. They said no backup cars. Those two should have gotten the backup car because they're in the all-star race.
Exactly. So
have them start dead last. Just like, why keep them out still?
It doesn't make sense. But one other one that I want to bring up, and this is what really put the all-star race on the map. One hot night, 1992, the first time that Charlotte ran the lights. This is where you have that famous finish, or really infamous finish, because Davey Allison had just an up and down year, but still persevered. Especially after the numerous injuries that he got that year, wins the all-star race, crashes right after the start-finish line, is like that. Everything that happened in that last lap just encapsulates the All-Star race. It encapsulates how much that $1 million would mean to the other guy, and what that other guy in second is willing to do. I think, and just the All-Star race at Charlotte makes perfect sense because of where it started. They tried at Atlanta the next year, didn't work, so they put it back at Charlotte. That's where it's been ever since. That's where it needs to stay. I do not care what anybody else says, whether it be like some of the newer fans that are coming in. It's like, oh, All-Star race in North Wilkesboro. I mean, sure, I would say second best bet is North Wilkesboro.
It worked. I mean, it worked.
It did, for its
work.
Time, yeah. For the time that we were there for the last 3 years, it worked. But I just don't really think it's quite the same as Charlotte.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the same. It works, but it's not the same. But regardless of that, we still got the worst All-Star weekend we've ever gotten, ever. I think the All-Star race itself takes the cake for probably the worst race I've ever watched. I don't really think there's any other race that I can think of off the top of my head that would definitely come close to topping this year's All-Star race. I can't think of one. But all right, let's go through our finishing results here for the weekend. And as Nanners gets a little bit comfortable and tries to give herself a little bath, I do
Why
want...
do like a camera shot?
I do want to point this out because this is kind of funny to me. Everybody in the top 6, all but one driver in the top 6, started and finished exactly where they started. Top 6, they finished top 6, all but one. This is kind of funny, but we're going to touch on some of these drivers as we go through the results. Starting off with the Truck Series, Kyle Busch started first, finished first. No shock there.
No surprise.
Ty Majeski started second, finished second. Lane Riggs, he didn't start third, he started 11th, but he finishes third. Caden Honeycutt started 4th, finished 4th. Christopher Bell started 5th, completes your top 5. Brandon Jones started 6th, finished 6th. But unfortunately, that string of drivers starting and finishing where they started, unfortunately, that string comes to an end with Christian Eckes. He started 27th. And he finished 27th. Hold on, wait a minute. This is kind of funny. Corey LaJoie started 28th. He finishes 8th. Jake Garcia 9th. And Justin Haley rounds out your top 10. One thing I do want to bring up here, and this is in regards to Corey LaJoie, and I don't know if you heard about this, Wyatt, but this was confirmed.
I'm pretty sure
yeah, it was confirmed a little bit before we started taping the show that NASCAR has announced that they are not giving Corey LaJoie a chase waiver, so he is ineligible for the championship. But the good news is I think he's still eligible for the Owners' Championship or the Manufacturers' title, yeah. So he can he can still race for those, just not the Drivers' Championship, unfortunately.
He's still good to go on both of those, but he just can't get the Drivers' Championship, which I feel like that just sucks.
It does,
I
yeah.
Feel like, but I've already taken him out of the deal, so yeah.
Positions 11th on down to 20th looks like this. Stuart Friesen, Chandler Smith, Brendan Queen, William Sawalich, Grant Enfinger, Tanner Gray, almost said Taylor, wrong Gray, Chris Wright, Ross Chastain, Ben Rhodes, and Gio Ruggiero. That's your top 20. 21st on down to 30th looks like this. It's Parker Eatman, Spencer Boyd, Dawson Sutton, Frankie Muniz, Tyler Ankrum, Tony Breidinger, Minnie Tyrell, Andreas Perez, Clint Boyer, and Daniel Hemrick. That is your top 30. And then finally, 31st on down to 36th looks like this. Carson Hocevar, Luke Baldwin, Cole Butcher, Natalie Decker, Caleb Costner, and Destiny Spurlock, who went out of the race on lap 34. Now let's go over to the O'Reilly series. These results are actually kind of interesting. But also these are kind of what you would also expect. But Corey Day, win number 2 on the season. So Corey's actually really starting to figure everything out. I mean, not just on plate tracks, but now on other shorter ovals and different types of ovals. But he's getting this figured out.
This is his first non-super speedway win. He's getting the speed. He's getting up there.
Mm-hmm. Justin Allgaier comes home in the second position. Sam Marin third. William Sawalich in fourth. Austin Hill completes your top 5. Then Brandon Jones finishes in 6th. Carson Kvapil started 7th, finishes 7th. Ryan Sieg 8th. Sammy Smith 9th. And Anthony Alfredo rounds out your top 10. How about that, actually? Parker Retzlaff, it's sad to see that his luck ran out when it came to getting consistent top 10s, but we're now starting to see Anthony Alfredo, I guess, start up a string of his own top 10s.
Well, yeah, what sucks about Parker Retzlaff, he got caught up in a wreck that was not his fault. Trying to remember, someone hit the wall and slowed up. Don't remember who it was. And then Jeb Burton trying to slow down, and then nowhere to go for Retzlaff.
Oh, man, yeah.
Sucks because he was moving up the field too. He was moving up the field like he was going to be up there like in a few, I'd say about 10 or 20 laps or so. Going to be probably competing for a good top 10, but suck.
11th on down to 20th looks like this. Brendan Poole, Austin Green, Ross Chastain, Raja Caruth, Jeremy Clements, Harrison Burton, Kyle Sieg, Sheldon Creed, Andrew Patterson, and Dean Thompson. That is your top 20. 21st on down to 30th looks like this. Patrick Staropoli, Brent Cruz, Jesse Love, Myatt Snyder, Ryan Ellis, Blake Lothian, Josh Bilicki, Dawson Cram, BJ McLeod, and CJ McLaughlin. That's your top 30. Poor Jesse Love, by the way. He got caught up in 2 incidents. What? 2 incidents in the final stage? Poor boy.
I believe so.
That poor boy. Man, he suffered some heartbreak at Watkins Glen after having that race nailed down, loses it on the last lap, last corner too, and then comes to Dover. Unfortunately, just gets caught up in 2 incidents. I feel bad, man. I feel really bad.
Yeah.
Finally, from 31st on down to 38th, looks like this. Garrett Smithley, he was the last car running on the racetrack. Everybody else was out. Taylor Gray, David Starr, Blaine Perkins, Logan Bearden, LeVar Scott, Jeb Burton, and Parker Retzlaff, who went out of the race with Jeb Burton on lap 10. And now we get to... Oh my goodness. We now get to the worst All-Star race I think I've ever seen in my entire life. But the results...
I will say, yeah, before you say the results, there's a lot. I mean, obviously there wasn't a whole lot of cars, and they're not even mentioning the all the open cars, but you have some names that you don't normally see up. Maybe you don't normally see up here a lot, and some had like surprisingly good runs, despite like some of them not even fully or all had the racer way in, but look at some of these names. It's a surprise. It's kind of a surprise.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. That's actually funny thing you say that because that's actually what I was gonna mention. But the results are definitely pretty unique, almost unusual to see. So let's go through this. Denny Hamlin, no shock, second career All-Star race win after spinning and winning the pole. Woohoo. Chase Briscoe finishing in second. Eric Jones.
For the second year in a row, by the way.
Really? For the second year in a row?
Yeah, Denny Hamlin and Briscoe finished 1-2 2 years in a row.
Oh my goodness.
Look it up. I'm not like they've gone 1-2 back to.
That is unbelievable. Absolutely insane. But Eric Jones also, might I add, Hamlin's former teammate, right behind them, finishing in the third position.
How about that for legacy? And not Jones was up like around the front that whole time too. Like even in the open races, Jones had a fast car.
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't as fast as Hamlin or Briscoe, but he had like a good car. Probably one of the best one. But yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable. But man, just imagine if a caution would have come out. Eric Jones would have given Briscoe or Hamlin a run for their money. Austin Dillon finished in third. Connor Zilic, or Austin Dillon finished fourth, rather. But Connor Zilic, he started fifth in the race. He finishes fifth. Is it sad to say that I do believe that this is probably going to be the only best result that I see out of Connor Zilic in a non-points race?
You mean like a non-road course race?
Let's say that, yeah, for Cup.
In a non-road course / super speedway super speedway race, yeah. I don't think it's sad. I could kind of agree with you on that one. Unless like something crazy happens, I do not see Connor getting a good position.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this finish is also right on par. Austin Cindric started sixth, finished sixth. William Byron comes home in seventh. Michael McDowell, eighth. Alex Bowman, ninth. Brad Keselowski rounds out your top 10. And then from positions, 11th to 20th look like this. This is how so far out of tune that I actually was in with the All-Star race. Like I was tuned out after the first and second segments because I was like, man, what is this garbage? What am I watching? What am I watching by seeing the first segment have at least 21 cars and then all of a sudden segment 2, bam, everybody's there as if we're watching a normal cup race at Dover. And then all of a sudden, we're going right back down to a 26 car field and you're not going to exactly know who's going to be starting where and who's going to actually be in because, yeah, we're going to combine everybody's starting positions together to come up with the best starting, whatever it is.
It's combining the finishing positions, and whoever had the least amount was in the All-Star race between all the open cars. Not to mention set the starting lineup.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb. I hate that.
If it was just the open cars, I kind of see it. See all the fast cars come from the back of getting inverted. Go to the front. It's like I kind of see it, and I was the right track for that. I don't. So I like what they try to do. Try little adjustments. Just execution just failed for multiple different reasons.
Like I said, I feel like they just need to go back to what worked for them. They just need to go back to what worked. This format, I'm in disagreement with you why this format absolutely freaking sucked. But 11th on down to 20th looks like this. Noah Gragson, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Carson Hocevar, Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, SVG, Bubba Wallace. That's your top 20. And funny thing to note about Blaney, up to this point, he only was on the track for 2 laps, spent most of it in the infield until you got to the 200 lap main event, supposedly, because he was guaranteed in. And then all of a sudden, bam! He's in a car that looks just good as new.
Huh?
So you're telling me in the first 2 segments, you're racing, you're out very early, but you're guaranteed you're guaranteed. So you come back like for the 200 lap main? Hello? This is why I said keep the cars that are locked into the All-Star race in some manner or another. Whether if they want to race up to the All-Star race, whether if they won an All-Star race previously, or whatever they're doing to set the lineup for drivers that are locked in. Keep them apart from the opens, from the open cars. This is why this format does not work. It takes out other drivers that are locked in. It ruins their chance of actually going for $1 million. It makes no sense to have the all-star cars that are locked in race with the open cars because you get dumb stuff like that.
That's one part I do agree with you. Like, that's what I was saying. If it was just the open cars doing this, I see how interesting that idea of the format could be. But keep like you said, keep the open and the people locked in. Then it'd just be a bit more different and interesting. But just
And on top of that, because we've seen open races before, those open races are fun to watch. Because then you get to see like everybody that's not locked in, they're trying to race for a spot to get in, and they are racing their absolute asses off. Why are we doing this with cars that are locked in? That makes no sense to me.
they either need to adjust this one, or they just need to, like you said, scrap it and go back to the old stuff. Which I kind of like the old one a bit better. I like I like the thought of the idea. I think there's a lot of stuff that need to get changed if they ever want to attempt this again. But just no, either make all changed. Mainly, like you said, no open cars run with all-star cars unless they're in the all-star, unless they're confirmed in the all-star race,
Exactly.
and just then that's when you try like the inversion and all the starting lineups and all that stuff. I don't know about starting lineup stuff. I think it just still stay like all 3 cars with fresh tires. Like everyone starts fresh tires.
Yeah. NASCAR, take notes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And finally, from positions 21st on down to 26th, it looks like this. We have Daniel Suarez, who was the last car running on the track. And then the rest were out of the race. Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano, and Kyle Larson, who went out on lap 134.
Now we get to my segment of all the damn points. Now, I didn't get a chance to cover the last. I don't think I covered the last few weeks. I can't remember. Each day's gone by. I've slept since then, so I know I don't remember if I covered the cup points last. I think I may not have been here last week. Pretty sure it was. I don't know.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, no. So I may just go ahead and go over that too. But let's just go over what's new in the truck series. Still another Kyle Busch won again in the trucks, making his 69th win in the truck series. So no new truck winner. We still only got 3 winners. Still only had 1 win out of the 9 races.
Woo!
Literally a third of the race. Literally a third of the race only been won by actual truck drivers. That's something they need to change too. I don't like how they added they got more races for trucks and O'Reillys again for the upper series. Like I was happy when they did that.
Yeah.
With put that back down to a limited number or a lower number. Keep that back. I don't want to see them in other series, but that's besides the point. So
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Caden Honeycutt's top of the board with 151 points. Lane Riggs is second with 113, only at 1 point behind his teammate Chandler Smith, which is 112. They have Gio Ruggiero with 90 points, Ty Majeski 81, Christian Eckes 75, Ben Rhodes 50, and we have a 33-point gap between him and Jake Garcia. That's 17 points. Then it's 12 points for Stuart Friesen. And then the last spot currently is Tyler Ankrum with 10. Now, we have 21 people for the that's below the cut line instead of 22. Well, I say my brain ain't working. Give me a second. We have 11 cars below it instead of 12. My apologies. I looked at numbers on the side of placements. Currently 10 below is Brendan Queen, the highest rookie. What?
No, I was laughing at what you were saying about looking at the numbers on the side.
Okay. He's also down by 10 points. Justin Haley 11, and to a 29-point gap between Justin Haley and the two drivers of Andres Perez and Tanner Gray, 40 points below. And Ed Finger with 42, Dawson Sutton 57. The two rookies of Mini Tri-Rail, who's down by 68, and funny enough, Cole Butcher down by 86, Chris Wright down by 89, and Frankie Muniz down by 112. 9 more races till the regular season.
It's kind of, but to your point of like, oh, the like a third of the races in the regular season have been won by cup drivers, not truck regulars, but cup drivers. Is like, or two thirds. Sorry. It's, yeah, I think, yeah, I would agree. There's like, I don't think it's right that, Cup drivers are coming down and they are basically just kind of picking off wins left and right, just from the regulars that are racing are racing for a championship. They're racing to try to get into the chase this year. And to see some of them get, I mean, like even guys that are below the cut line, like Emmerich, Haley, Queen, Tanner Gray, just to name a few that are consistently fast every week in and week out, that could use a win to better their opportunity of getting into the top 10. You're taking, those cup guys are coming in and they're taking the wins away from them. And I'm not saying that they're doing it deliberately. They might be doing it to get extra seat time, but the problem is that every car, every vehicle, and every division is different. So what is the cup driver learning when they're getting into a truck or when they're getting into an O'Reilly car, when they're going into a cup car that is way more stable than anything that they've ever driven in their entire lives, but also has 5 gears? What are they learning?
I've never liked the concept of like more and more just like having the cup guys come down. I don't like. Now it's getting worse. Now it's like truck series. It's mainly Kyle Busch and Carson Hocevar.
Yeah.
It's the main two. Those are the main two. They, I don't want to say Corey Heim because he's not even full time in any series, so can't
Yeah,
really
no.
say him.
He's kind of like a roamer, a wanderer, if you will.
And I'm about to segue to the O'Reilly series, but that's the same way with the O'Reilly series. Like, it's mainly Connor. Connor Zillich is up there mainly. Kyle Larson up there. I don't know. I think they need to get control of that. They should not have brought that back up. They should have kept lowering it, the amount of races that the Cup guys were able to do.
Yeah.
Do not going to the O'Reilly series. We have Justin Allgaier extending his lead to 340 points above.
Hmm.
340. That is currently 100 and if my math is correct, 170 77. Yes, 177
Yeah.
point difference between Justin Allgaier and Sheldon Creed. Tied with Sheldon Creed and Jesse Love.
Yeah.
177 point gap. I think that's more than what. Yeah, that's more than what Tyler Reddick has over Denny Hamlin in the Cup Series.
Easily. That's wild, actually. But you
I
also,
find this funny.
I think
Go ahead.
you also have to remember too, the O'Reilly series is actually ahead of the Cup series. They're actually ahead in races right now. So I mean that could also be, that's also definitely contributing to why Allgaier has a much larger, I mean, like even like the gap between the points leader and the cut line. That's why Allgaier's gap to the cut line is much larger versus Tyler Reddick's.
But also, I find this funny because we just got talked about like the beginning of the year, talked about like who all should be in the Hall of Fame and all that, and Allgaier's name was brought up being in it. Yeah, I feel like if he win, I think if he wins the championship this year, he should be in talks
Yeah.
about being a potential like maybe a name to be in the Hall of Fame. Especially since he's already got 3 wins. He's already over almost 200 points from Sheldon Creed and Jesse Love.
Yeah.
Continuing on, Corey Day is catching up little by little. He's 145 points above. Then Brandon Jones, 135. Then we have a 40 47. Yeah, 47 point difference between Brandon Jones and Sammy Smith, who's only 3 points behind Austin Hill, has 85. Then Carson Quapple is 81 points above. Then we have a 51 point gap between him and Sam Mayer, who has 30 points above. Taylor Gray, 26. Parker Retzloff, 24. And William Salat is only above. He's the last spot in by 5 points. Then you have Brent Cruz down by 5 points. Fellow Rookie of the Year contender Raja Karut down by 6. Ryan Sieg, 22. Brendan Poole, 61. Anthony Alfredo, 102. Dean Thompson, 108. Jeremy Clements, 110. Jeb Burton, 120. His cousin Harrison, 134. Blaine Perkins, 137. But yeah, like you mentioned, like we're already halfway of the regular season in the O'Reilly series too.
Yeah. Another thing is to Brent Cruz. I mean, it sucks that now he's unfortunately below the cut line again. So, but he's not too far. He's not too far off.
No, he's not.
By next week, by this upcoming week, because all 3 series are at Charlotte.
Yes.
So I would definitely see Brent Cruz recovering at Charlotte. I see him recovering, I think, even the following week, because I think O'Reilly's is also racing the following weekend too, if I actually look at the schedule, because they're going to Nashville So they're going to Nashville the following week. So maybe even Nashville. I do see not Corey Day, rather. Corey Day's fine. It's Brent Cruz. That's the different story here. But Brent Cruz, I definitely see him recovering pretty quickly. Like this is kind of like a scratch. This is fine. This is fine. Because Cruz, obviously, since he's shown the moment that he went full time that he had speed, and he literally drove his ass off to get into the top 12 and even get close to it. So I see him recovering pretty quickly. Carruth is a bit of a different story. I think he will recover. I don't think he's going to do it as quickly, especially with him bouncing between Junior Motorsports and Jordan Anderson Racing, and most of the regular season being spent with Jordan Anderson Racing. At least from what we've seen, I think it's going to be a lot harder for Carruth to bounce back and get into the top 12.
I could see him doing it every few races, but I don't think either one of them are going to catch Corey Day.
Mm-mm. Corey Day is in a different zip code right now.
If Brent Cruz start winning a bit more, I could kind of see him being a contender with Corey Day. But right now, Corey Day is definitely going to is probably the most likely person to be in the Rookie of the Year.
Oh yeah,
you went over. I'm pretty sure you did go over this last week, but I'll go ahead and refresh everyone's memories. Going into Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, which this will change drastically because this is the most points you will get in a race here in Charlotte.
Oh boy, really?
Yeah, because remember we got 3 stages.
No, 4.
Or 4. That's what I mean to say. 4. I think I was thinking 3 stages before the final stage. What I was trying to say.
Okay. That makes sense. No, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Just to refresh everyone's memory, as I mentioned at the start, Tyler Reddick is almost at 300 points above the cut line, being 290, only 10 points away. I feel like he'll get that at the beginning if he don't wreck out a lap in the first stage.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin, who won the All-Star race, got a second All-Star race win. He's still 161 points above. Chase Elliott, 145. Ryan Blaney, 128. Buescher, the first non-winner, finished 98. Ty Gibbs, 95. Carson Hocevar, 65. Kyle Larson, 55. Brad Keselowski, 41. Bubba Wallace, 36. Bell, 34. William Byron, 32. Ryan Preece, 19. Daniel Suarez, 18th. Austin Cindric, 10th. And SVG, last one in, is only up by 6 points. First one below is Chase Briscoe, down by 6. Then there's a 32. Yeah, 32 point gap between Briscoe and Joey Logano. Then who's at 38? Ross Chastain, 47. AJ Allmendinger, 48. Michael McDowell, 58. And Austin Dillon, 63. Alex Bowman slowly trying to work his way up to 156 back from could still need to get. This will hinder him because he need to get top 10s each week to even be close to getting to Chase.
Yeah.
Way outside top 10. So he needs to get I'd say start getting top 5s each week and with stage points if he wants to try and see if he get involved in this chase.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that. See, the thing with Bowman is that the 2 top 5 finishes at Talladega, and then God, what other track was it? Because he came back not Texas. Was it Texas? I don't know.
I think it is Texas.
Okay, yeah, because then Texas. I mean, those are oh wow, yeah. He got some really good. He got back. Those are actually some pretty good finishes, and there were talks of oh, I'm almost back to the Alex Bowman of old. which is like, I don't know. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, at least not yet, but we're starting to see that we're seeing that he's making progress. But just the last time out when we went points racing at Watkins Glen, from the looks of things, 25th. He finished on the lead lap at least. So I mean, yeah, cool. I mean, you're making strides. But I think the first few races, obviously for Bowman, is going to be a little bit up and down. They have been, as they have. Bristol was terrible. Talladega, Texas, 2 top 5 finishes in a row. Watkins Glen, 25th. Yeah, that's kind of expected, really, to be honest with you. But I think the oval tracks that we know Bowman is good at, maybe a Charlotte, maybe some other tracks like a Michigan or
He's won Pocono before.
Pocono's another one. So I mean, other tracks that we've seen Bowman.
I think I've seen him run decent at Nashville.
Yeah,
a couple times.
But like tracks that we know that Bowman shows speed at very consistently. I mean those are tracks that I think Bowman will probably get himself close to top 20. I still am a firm believer that Bowman is not making it into the chase this year, especially with the much adversity that he has faced. I mean, like, great to see him back in the car, but I don't think he's doing it.
He has to really like work and be like top 5 every single week, get like as much stage points as you can. That's the only way I see him. And you look at some of the tracks, like you said, like I said, looking at this, Charlotte, he's finished good at Charlotte. I look back at some of the standings, he's finished pretty good.
Yeah.
Up there. Nashville, I think I remember him racing decently. He's won Pocono one year. You got the unknown in the naval base, but I think that's SVG territory, so
Oh yeah.
that's a whole different story. I think the track he needs to circle is his track that got his first career win. Chicagoland.
Oh
is
yeah.
a track that he needs to circle.
I would agree that track for sure could be a place that he does come back and probably breaks his winless streak. Could be the case. I don't know, but could be. If anything, if that happens, that's one step closer to getting top 20 in the, at least trying to get close to the chase.
And I think that's all that for the driver's points.
Oh yeah.
And for the GTN points, I'm still leading after I didn't get a chance to talk about this. Me having probably the biggest lead, the biggest win yet of almost sweeping the whole weekend. And we added a rule that we'll be mentioning here in a second too. So talking about this week, I'm still leading by half a point. Both Slifer and Stapleton both got the most points this weekend with 4 points. So that bumps Stapleton up to 51.5 points. Only a half a point am I ahead of him currently. And Elijah has a 50 flat points. So he's still not that far off. And Slifer slowly catching up. He's got only 44. He's only 6 points from Elijah, so he has his work cut out for him, but he's slowly but surely making his way.
Slowly but surely. But I'm also glad. I mean, it's funny. You got shut out twice this week.
Yes.
And thank God. I mean, I'm sad that I got a shutout, but thank God for the cup. I mean, it was only the cup race. And also thank God that I wasn't the only one that got shut out on that one alone.
Hey, Slifer was the only one that did not get shut out in any series.
That's true.
Stapleton got shut out in the trucks. I got shut out. No, wait, no. No, I got shut out in truck. Stapleton got shut out in the Xfinity,
O'Reilly.
and then both me and O'Reilly, thank you, and both me and Elijah got shut out in the Cup Series.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like that was kind of expected with the confusing ass format that we had.
That will conclude my segment of all the damn points.
Okay. There's something I actually do want to talk about here, and this might spark a conversation. But I don't know if you have been keeping up with any of like some of the silly season stuff, at least some of the stuff that has been talked about. But
A little bit.
But there are some candidates that are now starting to be talked about of who could potentially be the next driver of the 48 in 2027. Because I guess from the sounds of it, Alex Bowman might not be getting re-signed. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm observing, based off of the rumblings that I'm hearing about who could be the new potential driver of the 48. First one that I saw was Corey Day. Corey Day was the first name that I saw pop up. But then the second name that I saw pop up was Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch driving the 48 in 2027. Now, I feel like, I'll be honest, I feel like that would be more, if that were to happen, that's more realistic than Corey Day going up to Cup to drive the 48. Let's face it.
I agree with that.
I just don't see Corey Day going up to Cup that quickly. Sure, it took him a little bit to get adjusted to racing stock cars and get adjusted to racing the O'Reilly's cars. I mean, he got 2 wins this year, which freaking phenomenal. He definitely proved me wrong, that's for sure. But I just don't think that would consider him, ready for the Cup Series. I just don't think he really should be going up to, or at least should be getting the opportunity to go up to Cup just yet. I think he just needs one more year. Zilisch for sure is more realistic in this scenario.
And I see 2 deals that's kind of funny about this, and it brings back to 2 different drivers. Talk about if Corey Day is going to assist, then we're doing bringing him up like William Byron. Here I say that because he's only had 1 full year in trucks, 1 full year in then Xfinity, and then he got put in to the Cup Series that next year on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
Replacing the 24 for was Chase Elliott driving the 24, then he went to the 9. But now, and it's either a tale of 2 deals, and this is why I say this. If it goes to Connor Zilisch, then it's going to be Alex Bowman. Let me explain. I find out be poetic. What car did Alex Bowman drive before he drove the 48?
The 88.
What number is Connor Zilisch driving?
Also 88. So are you saying he could go to Trackhouse?
No, I'm making. Well, I mean, they could switch it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm making it. I'm being funny and saying like, Alex Bowman went from the 88 to the 48, and if Connor Zilisch is the next one to go to Hendricks, we're about to do an Alex Bowman on Alex Bowman. Go from the 88 from Trackhouse to the 48 to Hendricks.
That would be kind of crazy. That honestly would be kind of crazy.
But you bring that up, and this is where I want to ask. If it is true, then if it's either like Connor or both Connor and Corey having options to go to the 48, where does that leave Alex Bowman? What right now? Bring that up. The tale of 2 deals. Either he goes to the O'Reilly series or he's going to Trackhouse. But that's not
Both,
only
I
because
mean, both are very realistic, though. Both are very, very realistic. I mean, when you think about it, if, say, if Corey Day goes up and takes over, there's two scenarios that could play into this. If Corey Day is the one that gets selected to drive the 48 next year, and say, oh, maybe, you know, Rick Hendrick wants to keep Bowman on the team, put him in the 17
yeah,
for the O'Reilly series. The second scenario is the obvious one. I say if Zilich is the one that gets signed on to go drive the 48, obviously take Bowman, put him with Trackhouse. I feel like those are two perfectly, you know, realistic scenarios that, I mean, we're starting to, I think, could unfold. One of which could unfold if one is more true than the other, if it turns out to be true. But right now, there are obviously rumors. They are speculations, but Day and Zilich are pretty, I'd say, pretty legit candidates. But I think Zilich is more legit than Corey Day. I'm just going to be real with you there.
yeah, but we still got other open cars that have not confirmed their signage and stuff. AK, the main one is Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
And another name would definitely be Daniel Suarez, but how well his season's going, I think they're going to sign him for another year. Honestly, he's beating expectations. He's still currently top 16 in points. Could very well make, if he still runs good, could very well make the chase. His first year with Spire, getting at least 2 Spire cars in the chase for the very first time.
Yep.
Or chase / playoffs. I'm putting them in here for the very first time. I say slash because it'd be the first time they would even get into that type of format anyway. So it'll be a first all around for Spire, and just get 2 cars, and one is more, you would believe, more than the other one.
Yeah.
So I think Suarez might be fine.
Well, another thing,
Staying
I think
Spire.
also, and we touched on it too, we haven't heard any sort of information on what Herbst's situation is.
Right.
So
With the Herps I'm having a brain fart.
oh,
I can't think of his name. I just said his name not that long ago. Oh,
was
67. 67.
oh yeah, Corey Heim.
Thank you, Corey Heim. For some reason, his name would not pop up.
Yeah, I
At
mean,
least I haven't heard anything about the Herbst or Heim situation.
like I'd say for Herbst, I mean, from what I've seen before we even started the season, is that this is contract year for Riley Herbst.
Not to mention, we can't forget that Legacy's got a third car.
That's true. They're getting one made, or they've already got one ready to go for next year.
Yeah, we just don't know the driver.
Not yet.
I actually saw something. I don't know if we talked about. Y'all probably did. I got a chance to talk about that.
Okay.
The third car is going to be the 84. I think Jimmy Johnson for this final Daytona 500. He's driving. I think it's
The 13.
the 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the 13, which honestly I think kind of brings it full circle for Jimmy in this case, because even for his first career win, he won on his 13th start back in 2002, and you know the way he described it is like, oh, that was when I got my first win. That was, you know, when I got this and that, and he just started seeing 13 pop up everywhere. He's like, all right, cool, 13 for me. But you know, I'd say the 84. Now that you bring that up, that would be interesting to see what happens there. What if, I mean, there's like 3 candidates now, I think, for the 84. You know, you have Herbst, you have Heim, You have Kyle Busch, who could be
four.
Who's the fourth one?
Alex Bowman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I feel like
just
that'd be also funny because
it would be
Jimmy
interesting.
Johnson. Sorry to cut you off. That's funny. Jimmy Johnson went from the 48 to the 84, and if Bowman leaves, it goes over there.
The irony.
I'm sorry, I'm a big numbers guy, and I find all this funny. So, anyways, continue on what you were saying.
But I don't know about Bowman though, because I mean I still kind of see him sticking around the Chevy camp. I think Chevy's gonna probably try to see if they could keep him around. But the only three that I'm really thinking off the top of my head that would be a little bit more legit, I would definitely say Heim, Busch, and Herbst.
The other thing we gotta mention too is like Ally is really close with, I think, Bowman, so he's going to have sponsorship.
Yeah, so I would agree with that. So it would. That's another thing that would be kind of funny if Bowman actually did go over to Legacy Motor Club. Ally goes with him. They originally also prior sponsored Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why I'm like, damn,
what if
there's like a lot of similarities?
There's a lot of irony behind what could be if Bowman actually did go over to Legacy Motor Club and Ally went with him. It's kind of like 5 Hour Energy and Clint Boyer. Wherever 5 Hour Energy goes, Clint Boyer follows. So pretty much.
Yeah, we're talking about people on their current contracts and stuff. We haven't even thought about like what if someone gets like brought up from like the O'Reilly series or the with the truck series, which I really don't think. Maybe like a Carson Quapple or there's a few that could probably be questioned, up there as a question to maybe have a potential ride up there, but
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, like Carson Quapple, I think would be a huge maybe. He spent enough time in O'Reilly's. I think he could probably, make something happen in Cup. I mean, based off of just running consistent, like having consistent runs alone. I mean, he could probably make something happen up there.
We're talking about like Kyle Busch leaving because I think everyone's pretty confident Kyle Busch is most likely. He's starting to get up there. He's starting to have a better run, but I don't think that's going to save him. I think he's out of. I think he's leaving RCR. I think he's leaving, and the only candidate I see might be Austin Hill.
I would agree with that.
I think Jesse Love is a really close second, but Austin Hill spent more times in the O'Reilly Xfinity series more times than Jesse Love has.
I think, but then again, when you think about it, Austin Hill, and this is silly for me to bring this up, but Austin Hill had talked about in the past of how he wanted to be a role model for the O'Reilly series drivers after Allgaier retires. Like, which in all honesty, I think that could be like, he might be locked into the O'Reilly series at this point. I mean, maybe after saying that, Jesse Love, I mean, I would agree with you, is probably a close second. Say if O'Reilly's doesn't work out for Austin Hill and maybe he does get called up to Cup by good old RC. I mean, but Jesse Love, when you think about it, I mean, I think he could probably be a little bit more of a realistic pick than Austin Hill. Say if Hill wants to call the O'Reilly series his home. That's me though.
I don't know. It multiple options, and we still have lots of drivers doing this. So silly season this year is going to be a lot more interesting than it is last, especially with what names we got.
Yeah, and right now we're running into a lot of roadblocks when it comes to silly season because it's like nothing's really certain right now. Like we're just hearing rumbles, all throughout like the NASCAR scene and just all throughout the garage area and also on social media. That's all we're really seeing right now. Uh, but some of it does seem pretty kind of legit. But we'll see exactly what comes out of it though for the Bowman, like for who could be the new driver of the 48 by 2027. I think that's it though. I think that's all for our breaking
Yeah,
stories, I believe.
yeah, I believe that's it.
So with that said, we have made it out of the very dark woods that was All-Star weekend. Now we get to bask in the light. It's time to preview Charlotte for all three divisions. We have the Truck Series, we have the O'Reilly Series, and as well as the main event, and probably one of my favorite races of the entire year, the Coca-Cola 600 for the NASCAR Cup Series. And especially my favorite time of year because, we got Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, we also have a lot of racing happening this weekend with trucks, O'Reilly's, and then you throw in F1 with the Monaco Grand Prix, and then the Indianapolis 500, and then the Cup Series. But we have a lot. We have a lot of things coming up for this weekend. Even on top of that, Catherine Lay is doing the double. Like Catherine Lay is actually doing the double this year. It was rumbling. She said, "Oh, I think I'd like to do the double." And then all of a sudden, a little bit after that, not even 24 hours later, it's confirmed she's doing the double. It's like, "Oh my God, it's happening." She is going to make history as becoming the first woman to ever attempt the double.
That's going to be interesting. And I cannot wait to. I'm most likely. I'm not a big indie guy. I don't really watch, or not indie guy. I'm not really indie. I don't really watch a lot of the indie series. I don't. But but it's still impressive hearing like some drivers go to the Indy 500 and come all the way to Charlotte, do that race. Catherine Lay is going to make history. I'm happy to hear about that. And I hope it works out pretty well. I hope she runs all the.
I hope so too. I honestly hope so too. Hopefully she can do something that hasn't been done since Tony Stewart 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's complete all 1,100 miles. But as far as the NASCAR side of things, Wyatt, what are we looking forward to this weekend?
Well, we got all three series. Of course, trucks, Xfinity's. It's what normally you expect. You got the Cup leeches in there. They're most likely going to steal another win. Mainly Kyle Busch because he's in the damn race.
You also got Carson Hocevar too. Some notable entries in here. Obviously Brandon Jones. He's from the O'Reilly series. Then you have Stenhouse, Sawalich, Kyle Busch we just touched on. SVG is going to be in this race along with Carson Hocevar. So those are your notable entries in the trucks. Oh boy. Then in O'Reilly's, you have Cole Custer, Connor Zilich, Ross Chastain, and that's it. Leland Honeyman is a notable entry, I guess, but he's driving the 70.
And we got Carson Quapple back in the 90 this weekend. Excuse me.
Oh boy. But
yeah.
But I think it should be a pretty exciting weekend, though. I mean, nonetheless, we're still going to see some really good racing. Better than what we saw at Dover for the All-Star race. Oh, but all right. With that said, I think it's time. Let's go ahead and get on down to our predictions. One thing that I'll mention here is that Stapleton has yet to put in his predictions. So,
yes, I have noticed that.
If he doesn't put in his picks by the time that we're done recording this, It's not a problem because I will show the picks on the screen. But for those that are brand new to the show and they're not exactly sure how we make our predictions, here's how we do them. We give you a driver who we think is going to win. Pretty self-explanatory. The driver to stay away from is the driver that hasn't been doing well the last couple of weeks, or we're just coming up to a track where they don't perform all that well at, whether statistically or in general. The dark horse is the exact opposite. And Memorial Day weekend, trucks, O'Reilly's, Cup, then you sprinkle in a little bit of IndyCar action and Formula One racing. So, I mean, this is definitely going to be a lot of fun. So with that said, let's get on down into the picks. We're going to start off with Slifer because he's not here. He wasn't able to make it. So for his Truck Series predictions, he chose for his driver to stay away from, Travis Pastrana. His dark horse, Caden Honeycutt. And his driver to win is Ty Majeski. For the O'Reilly Series, he chose David Starr as his driver to stay away from. Pity point. For his dark horse, he chose Brent Cruz. And for his driver to win, Justin Allgaier. Finally, for the Cup Series, the Coke 600, he chose Kyle Busch as the driver to stay away from. Notice how he also spelled Busch, not like Busch the beer, but Busch baked beans, if you know what I mean. Denny Hamlin as the driver as his dark horse, but Kyle Busch is his driver to stay away from. Just want to clarify that. And his driver to win is Tyler Reddick. All right, Wyatt, you're up, man. Take it away.
All right, I did mine before we started this, so I'll go by this. My dark horse, I'm going to give this one to Grant Edfinger. I think Edfinger's pretty decent at Charlotte. I feel like he could do pretty well. He needs to have some good runs if he wants to get back in contention to be in the chase.
Absolutely.
So, my driver to stay away from, the last few times he's been in the truck, I have not really seen much, especially since him being the leech himself. Still hasn't won a truck race, and I don't think he is going to do, at least not that I'm able to see. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is my driver to stay away from. My driver to win. Part of me was this close. Y'all know me. I don't like picking Cup Legion. I don't. This close to putting Kyle Busch or Carson Hocevar. But I held myself back and went with Old Faithful, Caden Honeycutt.
Good Old Faithful. I love how we're referring to Caden Honeycutt is Old Faithful. I love it.
For the O'Reilly Series, I have our last week's winner, Corey Day, as the dark horse. Cole Custer, my driver to stay away from. And I agree with Slifer. Justin Allgaier is my winner for the O'Reilly Series. Now for the Cup Series. I changed my winner last minute. I just changed my winner last minute. And I'll tell you who I picked for. But I looked, and I did a little bit of research when I was trying to do this one. I looked back at the last few weeks of the, I got a message from Stapleton, so he may be getting ready to start making those picks.
All right.
So, I went back and I found out this guy has finished top 5 the last 3 all Coca-Cola 600. I almost said All-Star by accident. The last 3 Coca-Cola 600s, he's finished top 5. 2 of those in the top 3. My dark horse, William Byron.
I like it.
William Byron is my dark horse. My driver to stay away from, don't ask me why. I just have a weird feeling. I got Ty Gibbs. And I said this before and I say it again. When you think of Charlotte, you mainly think of, to me personally, you got one number you kind of think of. Backing up too quick. Number 19. I'm sorry, 19 and Charlotte goes hand in hand. Give me Briscoe. Give me Briscoe.
I like these.
The driver I had beforehand, I had Carson Hocevar.
I did notice that, yeah.
I switched it last second though. I switched it last second.
Oh boy!
Like even WRLA, Charlotte, you get 19. You got 19. You got to go. Charlotte, you think of 19. So I got to go for it. Gotta go for it.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gents. With that said, it's officially my turn to make the predictions. Starting off with the truck series. This is, I mean, honestly, this is a little bit kind of tough. I mean, especially when you have Cup drivers in here. It's a little bit tempting to not choose one. But I think I'm going to also agree with good old faithful here and say Caden Honeycutt will be my driver to win. Probably the only other guy that could definitely run up there with the Cup drivers. 100%. My driver to stay away from for the Cup series, I'm going to say Cole Butcher. Butcher's going to be my driver to stay away from. I haven't really seen Cole Butcher run the best as of recently. I think he started off the year pretty strong, but just I don't think he really was able to capitalize on the momentum that he was able to start the year off on. So he's my driver to stay away from. But my dark horse, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I think I'll say for my dark horse, we'll go kind of a bit of a in a slightly different direction. A slightly different direction here. But give me I'm gonna say give me Caden, not Caden Honeycutt twice. Yeah, totally. Brendan Queen. I'm gonna say Brendan Queen is gonna be my dark horse for this weekend. Queen has also been another driver that's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty consistent all year thus far. So I'll definitely say that he'll be my dark horse for the weekend. Stapleton.
I would like to point out while I'm putting his deals in here. Funny enough, all three of your picks, 11, 12, 13.
That is funny. I didn't even think about that. I did not even think about it. Now let's go over to the O'Reilly series. This one I think will be a little bit more, I wouldn't say, slightly easier, and I say that pretty loosely. I'm gonna say for my dark horse, or actually for my driver to win rather, I'd say, you know, call me crazy, but I think this is probably going to be the track where he gets his first career win. Give me Brent Cruz as my driver to win. I think this is the weekend where he gets his first win. I just got a hunch, especially with the runs that he's been having all through. I mean, up to this point, that got him at least around the top 12. This is probably the weekend where he's going to nab that first win. I mean, he's shown a lot of speed at like the mile and a half everywhere. My driver to stay away from, I'm going to say Harrison Burton will be my driver to stay away from. Just again, I'd say just, you know, Sam Hunt Racing and Harrison Burton just do not mix. They don't go together like bread and butter. They don't. For very obvious reasons. We saw that this past weekend at Dover. My dark horse, I'm going to say Raja Caruth will be my dark horse. You know, every time he's in the 88, he has never failed to show all the speed in the world in that car. Obviously, that 88 is fast no matter who's in it. So I'm going to say Raja Caruth is my dark horse. And now I actually get to say this with a little bit more enthusiasm here, unlike last week. But it's time for the main event. It's the 67th annual Coca-Cola 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Cup Series. Here we go with this one. I will agree with William Byron. Actually, hold up. I will agree with William Byron as the dark horse, though. 100%. Especially the last few Coca-Cola 600s where he has finished top 5 and almost won last year. I will say that he's going to be my dark horse. I'm going to go backwards with this one, actually, now that we're kind of going down this route. My driver to stay away from. I think I'll say for this weekend. This is always tough, but I think I might say Josh Berry. It's going to be my driver to stay away from. And again, we're a third of the way into the year, and I don't even know what's been going on with the 21 team, but they have just been absolutely struggling all throughout this year. And Charlotte, I don't think will be any different. My driver to win, though, I'm torn between two drivers. To be honest, I am extremely torn between two. But I think I'll go ahead and take a shot in the dark. And my driver to win, Denny Hamlin, is going to be my driver to win the Coca-Cola 600. Last year was also another great year for Hamlin. He could have also won the 600 last year as well. Unfortunately, didn't find himself in. I think he was in contention for a top 5 last year. But I think that's where he finished. But still had himself a great showing in last year's 600. But I think this year is where he's going to get the job done. Give me Hamlin as my driver to win. All right,
and we did get Stapletons
just in time
here.
Just in time.
And I'll go ahead and go over those for the Truck Series. He has Travis Pastrana as his dark horse. So this is going to be either Slifer or Stapleton is going to get a point, unless it's like how many drivers are in the field?
So far, there's 38 spots. I think it's going to be 36, but I think it's 38 trucks that are there for 36 spots.
Yeah, so one of them are going to get a point. So that's going to be interesting. His driver to stay away from is going to be Brandon Jones. His winner is Daniel Hemrick. For the O'Reilly Series, Austin Hill is his dark horse. Austin Green is his stay away.
Pity.
And then Raja Caruth as his winner.
That's an interesting one, though. I will say that's a bold one.
That is a bold one. That's a bold one for Stapleton. And here in the Cup Series, not so bold. We got Chris Buescher as a dark horse.
I like that one.
And Stapleton, who's now currently my best friend, Joey Logano, my stay away, or his stay away.
Watch next week he chooses Logano as the driver to win.
I know, right? I'll be like, now my arch enemy who chooses him to win. What is next week?
Nashville.
Yeah, no. The only reason he won that damn race was going to 5 overtimes. That race was stupid too. I'm getting off track. His winner, no surprise for him, is Kyle Larson.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I also mentioned that I said there was I mentioned there was an extra rule when I was doing my point segment for the GTN. I forgot about the extra rule that we pointed in here. If you happen to sweep the whole weekend, you get everything right on all of the series. Like if it's just Cup Series, you just got all 3. That's kind of the sweep. If you get all 6 of both Cup and Xfinity or Cup and Truck or any of those other ones, you get an extra point. That's the same thing if it's trucks or all 3 weekends like we got this week. If you sweep all of that, you get an additional extra point. So if you get all 9, and don't know if we clarified about the part-time or the leeches and stuff. I'm not sure we clarified if that's in play as well.
I don't think we ever talked about that.
No, I know that's the one thing I'm just not thinking. Like I don't know about that. I like to feel like if you got like a full on 9 point, like or a full on like 9 out of 9, 6 out of 6, 3 out of 3. I feel like that would be more fair to do it that way.
Oh yeah.
Instead of having the half points. You can do all that, you get an additional extra point. So you sweep all of it, you get 10 points instead of 9. You sweep two of the series that we have. That is only 2 of the series, so 6 points max. You get 7 points. Or if you just get the one race weekend sweep, you will get 4 points instead of 3. So a little bit of extra juice going through this. So I feel like this will be interesting going the rest of the year.
Absolutely, I do agree. But with that said, Wyatt, we've done everything that we needed to do. We have reviewed All-Star Weekend. We've gone over some of the breaking stories. We've gone over point situations. We've previewed Memorial Day weekend. So one final question, man. Any last thoughts before we get the Charlotte weekend underway?
Let's go race 600 miles for the Coca-Cola 600.
Absolutely.
For our veterans.
Absolutely.
Or for our fallen.
Well, that's it. That is going to do it for tonight's episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching and or listening. Be sure to, if you're listening to this on Spotify, be sure to hit the green follow button. And if you're watching on the MTHN YouTube channel, if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button and be sure to consider subscribing. So that way on both platforms, you don't miss future episodes that drop every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to do it for us. On behalf of Wyatt Walker over here, I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll catch you guys on the very next episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR.
See y'all later.
Thanks for listening to tonight's episode of Gamers Talk NASCAR. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit that follow button so you don't miss a future episode throughout the NASCAR season. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.